Have you ever used a Regista in your football manager tactic before? This by far is the most underrated playmaker role in the whole of FM 2024. We are currently unbeaten in 2024 and we're walking into a major competition with an unbeaten streak. I'm managing Italy for Euro 2024 and we have a Regista at the heart of everything in our tactic. Do you think we can go all the way and win Euro 2024 by playing with this Regista system? Let me know in the comment section, and if you're new, remember to subscribe to the channel so you can get notified when more football manager tactic videos do come out. Do you know what? If we go on to win the competition, I'll add a link in the description so you can download the tactic and test it out for yourself. If we get knocked out, we'll just break down the tactic in the video so you can see how everything clicks and how everything works. So, in our first game, Croatia. I was actually nervous for this one. A lot of things could have gone wrong in this game and Croatia eventually held us to a 0-0 draw. And this makes the Albania game all the more important because they nearly broke our dreams of qualifying for the knockout round. But we had a late winner from our Regista, Jorginho, giving us a lifeline for the next round. All we had to do was beat Spain and then we will qualify. Spain posed the biggest threat in our group, but we shocked them by going 2-0 ahead in the first half. But De Lorenzo scored an own goal that pulled one back for Spain, but we held on to win 2-1. The round of 16 came calling and we met Netherlands. Boy oh boy. This was more nerve-wracking than the Croatia game, trust me. I was convinced that we would go to penalties in this game, but my substitute striker Raspadori was on hand to score a tap-in a late goal at extra time. It seems like the games are getting harder and harder because up next was Germany, and they were the toughest team that I've actually played against. Can you believe that they even went ahead 1-0 in the first half? But then I realized that this Germany team that I was playing against was stacked with fake players. I couldn't recognize anyone in the team. No Musiala, no Rudiger, no Manuel Neuer, just random names that I've never seen before. They had their 1-0 lead for a while, but we pulled back just after we switched to an attacking mentality, and this was like 15 minutes to go. And the game finished 1-1, and it's the second time we got dragged in the extra time. And in the first minute of the second half of extra time, Nicolo Zaniolo put us ahead with a near post finish. We still had to defend for the remaining 15 minutes of the game, honestly. Then Germany got a corner not long after that, and then they failed to convert. So we had Federico Chiesa ran half the length of the field with a counter attack, and then he laid a cutback for Nicolo Zaniolo to grab his second of the game, 3-1. At this point, we held on to grab a famous victory over fake Germany and secured our place in the semi-finals. Only 4 teams were left in the competition now, and for our semi-final we had to play a Portugal team that shockingly did not include Cristiano Ronaldo. In a hard-fought game, Portugal grabbed the late winner to mark the end of the road for Italy in this competition. We made it as far as the semi-final, guys. It was a decent run, and on another day we would probably have won the competition, but it wasn't to be. So as promised, we're going to go through the tactic in detail, and you can see how we went on to build the team around the Regista. Now, to recreate the Regista tactic is pretty simple. All you have to do is just set a 4-3-3 first of all, and of course the first person you want in your team is to actually have the Regista. So I'm just going to have Jorginho in here, play as my Regista on support. Now, to build the players around him, I'm going to start with the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper is Donnarumma. He's playing as a super keeper on defend duty, and in Italy they have 2 ball playing defenders that are capable of playing this role, so I just went ahead and set it as ball playing defender. If I use central defenders, it would be like limiting the player's ability, so I chose not to do that. Funny enough, Destiny Udogie played a good role for us in here. He played as a wing back on attack. Also, I use DiMarco in this role, so that's it, the left wing back role is the wing back on attack duty, and of course the more defensive wing back was here on support, where I had De Lorenzo play or Davide Calabria. They played in this role, and ahead of the Regista I had a ball winning midfielder on defend duty in here. You can guess who that role was. Nicolo Barella was the player that settled in here for me, and of course Marco Verratti. He's currently injured now, sorry for him, but he played as a central midfielder here on support duty. Ahead of the central midfielders, I had 2 inside forwards, usually Politano and of course Domenico Berardi. I also had Chiesa play here a few times. Federico Chiesa, where is he? He played in here a few times for us in big games. And the main striker was a pressing forward on support. Now, Raspadori was in here a few times, and usually the player I had that used to start for me was Ciro Immobile. Now, team instructions wise, when you go in possession, you want to play with shorter passing and a slightly higher tempo. You also want to just drift a bit wider, try to stretch the pitch. You also want your team to play out of defense. These are the only instructions that I set for the team in possession. When we're in transition, counter, pressing and counter were the only instructions that I used. I didn't want the goalkeeper to slow things down too much because we're already playing shorter passing. Out of possession, a high press and a high defensive line is what I went for, and of course much more often trigger press. But as I got later into the competition, I kind of dropped this down to more often trigger press. I also asked my players to prevent short goalkeeper distribution. That was basically the tactic. It took us to the semi-final against Portugal, but I feel in that game we could have won it. It's just that it was really tight, and I don't know how hands-on I went on in that game, but they kind of got one goal in the extra time. It was really difficult at that point. But this is basically how I was able to play with a Regista and stay unbeaten in Football Manager 2024. Basically, I was able to stay unbeaten for a long time until we met Portugal in the European competition. Now, this tactic is not perfect, but I did use it to win the La Liga with Atletico Madrid before even this time when I started to use it with Italy. It's a very similar tactic. So you can go ahead and check out that video next. You see in full how the tactic worked out for Atletico Madrid in La Liga and went on to win La Liga with them before even coming into Italy. Remember to leave a like for this video, and if you're new to the channel, remember to hit the subscribe button so you can get notified when more Football Manager tactic videos do come out. I'll see you in the next video.